Okay. All right. So we'll start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jayamuditaye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nandagopakumaraya govindaya namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with the 18th verse. I listened to lecture by Radhesham Prabhu, and I'll just try to repeat his words like a parrot. I really have nothing else to add of my own. I'll just recite this verse once. Kunti uvacha namasye purusham tvadyam ishvaram prakrite param alakshyam sarvabhutanam antarbahiravastitam. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. So these teachings of Queen Kunti, there are so many prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam. These prayers actually increase our understanding of Krishna. Actually, we don't really understand who is Krishna, where he lives, what are his qualities, but prayers by his pure devotees helps us develop a devotional attitude towards Krishna. And without understanding these prayers, it's difficult to understand who Krishna is. It helps improve our chanting. In the beginning, it's very easy to start chanting, but in order to perpetuate and improve our chanting, it's important to develop this prayerful mood, and it's favorable for developing a proper attitude towards devotional service, and our chanting, does not become dry. So just like when the light is on, it's because of enlightenment. When the light is off, the darkness is due to the ignorance, and in ignorance we tend to commit sins and offenses to others and to Krishna and the holy name. So similarly, when the Shastras are properly understood, our chanting and our devotion, everything improves. So just want to start off, before the Bhagavatam class, we started with the prayers. We always start with the prayers, Narayanam Namaskritya. So we're offering our obeisances to Nara Narayan Rishi, so that, they're, who is the incarnation of Krishna, and we're speaking, we're praying to Saraswati as well, so that she can empower us, she can empower our tongue with the right words, so that we can benefit everyone. And Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. There are so many troublesome and dirty things in our heart, and our mind is always stuck in worries and anxieties, and all these things are destroyed by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So we should be hearing Bhagavatam every single day, Nityam, in order, and so that we can transcend all our troubles. We can, many people, they go to the temple only when, they have, some people like me go to the temple only when they have troubles. But if we read Bhagavatam every day, uh, troubles will not come at all. So we should do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. So these prayers in the Bhagavatam, such as Kunti prayers that we're reading right now, they are full of, Bhagavatam is full of Uttam Shloke. So full of prayers, full of emotions by his pure devotees. And bhakti will become naistiki. Bhaktir bhavati naistiki. So when we do this, our bhakti will become nishtha. So we remember, if for those who attended Yugal Kishore Prabhu's um, japa retreat, may have, learned the different stages of devotion. So nishtha is the stage when one is fixed up, when one has deep rooted bhakti. So by reading Bhagavatam, by reading these uttama shlokas every day, our bhakti will become fixed up. It will become deep rooted bhakti, just like a banyan tree whose roots are deep in the ground, and so the tree becomes unshakable. And then the next shloka that we chant every day before starting Bhagavatam is Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha. So Krishna is the son of Vasudev and Devaki. And then later on, when he moves to Vrindavan, Devaki Nandanaya Cha. So he's a foster son of Nanda and Yashoda. Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So he later on he herded cows. So he gives pleasure to the cows and the senses, and to this Govinda, to this Krishna, I offer my respectful humble obeisances. So in this shloka, first shloka, actually the theme is original personality. So Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. So as we know, the Pandavas were very great devotees of Krishna. They had undergone so much trouble in their lives. So they were ill-treated by Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan. Bhima was offered poison. The Lakshagraha, they were put there so that they could be burned to ashes. They were sent to the forest. They were stripped off their kingdom. In the forest also, they underwent so many great difficulties. They had to face various demons, so many challenges. And even after they finished their exile in the forest, they were not given their kingdom back. The wife of the Pandavas, Draupadi, she was insulted. And, actually Narad Muni asks Lord Krishna that these Pandavas, they have been through so much in their life. What is the magic? How are they still serving you and loving you? What is the magic behind you, that despite having gone through all of this, that they are still having so much faith in you, and they're still praying to you? So Krishna says that this is the glory of my great devotees. Actually, this is how great my devotees are. So Narad Muni says, Narad Muni, actually, there's one part in Bhagavatam where Narad Muni tells Yudhishthir Maharaj about the glories of Prahlad Maharaj. So as Yudhishthir Maharaj was hearing about the glories of Prahlad Maharaj, he was feeling very inferior. He was thinking, oh, how great is his devotion. By hearing the devotion of Prahlad Maharaj, he was thinking, oh, this devotee's devotion is so great. So a great devotee always considers to his devotion to be very insignificant. He considers everyone else, he considers all the other devotees to be very great. Actually, Prahlad Maharaj, when he got the blessings of Narsingadev. Narsingadev is only a plenary expansion of Krishna. However, Narad Muni actually explained to Yudhishthir Maharaj that Narsingadev, after Hiranyakashipu was killed, Narsingadev he only placed a hand on the head of Prahlad Maharaj. But here you have Krishna directly. You have, you're serving Krishna directly. And not only that, but Krishna is offering obeisances to you. So he actually, Krishna also is surrendering to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So, so he didn't tell Narad Muni that go and tell Prahlad Maharaj that I'm such a great devotee, that, I have Krishna himself, and not Krishna's expansion, but Krishna's himself. So Narad Muni, in order to encourage Yudhishthira Maharaj, he actually, he actually tells Yudhishthira Maharaj that actually Krishna, he's the supreme personality of Godhead. The world is such a big place that he can actually go anywhere and stay, but he's actually coming and living in your palace for not only months but years together. All the rishis and munis are in the forest. They're doing tapasya, they're meditating to see Krishna in their hearts. But if they want to take pratyaksha darshan of Krishna, they have to come to your court. They have to come to your palace to see him. So Krishna, he's so captured with your love, and that you are holding him, that because of your love, he's being held in your palace. So the Pandavas were actually first-class devotees. Narad Muni was telling Yudhishthira Maharaj, you're thinking you're not a great devotee, but actually you are the greatest devotee, he was telling Yudhishthira Maharaj. He was encouraging Yudhishthira Maharaj in that way. So Pandavas are first-class devotees. Yudhishthira Maharaj performed this sacrifice, Rajasuya Yajna. Actually, his desire for performing this yajna was just to glorify Krishna. But even before he started this yajna, he took permission from Vedvyas, from Vidura, from Krishna himself, that can I do this yajna? Is it okay if I do this yajna? And Krishna said, yes, you can do this yajna. Because he was under the impression that by doing this yajna, I will be broadcasting my glories instead of Krishna's glories. So so Pandavas, that way they were very virtuous and they were very pure-hearted devotees, and that in that way, they gained the respect of the whole world, and they were very, very careful that they not to promote self-aggrandizement. Basically, they didn't want to promote themselves, but their only goal was to promote the glories of Krishna. And similarly, Queen Kunti, Mother Kunti, she was also a very, very great devotee of Krishna. So this scene, actually this part of the Bhagavatam, as you might all already know, is when, the battle of Kurukshetra comes to an end, and Yudhishthir Maharaj is now placed on the throne. And, once everything is ended, Krishna is now leaving for Dwarka. So all the friends, all the relatives, everyone came to watch him go. Everybody actually was surrounding his chariot, shedding tears, weeping. And in that setting, Queen Kunti, she speaks to Krishna. And the verses that she actually speaks to Krishna are actually very glorious. And the reason why they are glorious is because each and every verse is glorifying Krishna. So the very first word in the shloka is namasye. So namasye, she's offering obeisances to Krishna. So all of us, I'm sure we have aunts. How many of our aunts bow down to us? Nobody, right? So you bow down to your aunt, correct? You will bow down to your aunt, to your mother and father, and to all the elders of the family. This is in our culture. Like even if someone is, coming from a far off place to see their elderly family members, the first thing they will do is they will touch their feet. So this is, our Sanatan Dharma, our Hindu culture. So when Krishna, so basically here, Kunti Maharani, she knew very well that Krishna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's coming in the role of as a nephew, as my nephew, but actually he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even when Krishna appeared in Kamsa's jail, everything was extraordinary. Krishna was born with a smiling face, blackish blue hue skin. So, like we discussed in the Bhagavad Gita class this morning, actually, when we see babies, when they come out, we hear them cry, correct? They are crying. And actually, that is a sign of a healthy child, that when they're crying means, okay, their lungs have opened up and now they're healthy. But Krishna, on the other hand, he was smiling. And instead of crying, he was actually speaking to Vasudeva and Devaki, his parents. And he was born with ornaments, jewelry, bracelets. He had curly locks of hair. So that's why his name is Keshava. He has long, beautiful, curly locks of hair. So he had big eyes. So when newborn babies are born, their eyes are closed, but his eyes were wide open. And actually, Devaki and Vasudeva were offering their obeisances to Krishna because they were aware that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has come to come to them as their child. So same thing with Kunti. It shows that Kunti made no mistake. She had no mistake that Krishna is her nephew. He is God himself. So she's praying to him. So and she's saying Namaste. So she's offering obeisances. Let me bow down. Namaste. Yes. Namaste. Yes. So the next two words are Purusham Tvadyam. So Purusham means the supreme person. Tva means you. Adyam means the original. So you are the original personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So actually, one comparison is given in, one explanation is given in Brahma Samhita, that Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva what is it? Karana Karanam. Sorry. So he is the Adi Purusha. He is, the original personality of Godhead, and from him other personalities come. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrit, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, he explains that in order to make a pot on a wheel, you need to use a lot of wet mud, and you put it on the pot and you make it on the wheel. And once the pot is made, it needs to dry, and only a dry pot can contain the water. And once this pot is made, it is made to stand on the earth. So it is kept on the earth, on the land, and that's where it stands, holding the water in it. So similarly, there are three forms of Vishnu. Vishnu expands into three forms, and they're all coming from the original pot, the original person, that is Krishna. So anybody knows the three forms of Vishnu? Anybody wants to name them?
Gadadhar, Krishna.
Okay, anyone else wants to name them?
Rishi.
Garbhodakshai Vishnu.
Yeah, Garbhodakshai Vishnu is one of them. Kshirodakshai Vishnu is one of them, and Mahavishnu. So Vishnu expands into these three forms. Mahavishnu is the person who makes this entire world. All the universes come out from him, and then they grow into bigger universes. And then at the time of pralay, at the time of annihilation, all these universes go back into him and he breathes in. So this universe, this Brahmand, Anda means egg. So this Brahmand is an egg-shaped universe, and there are 14 planetary systems in this egg-shaped universe. There are 7, as you might know from the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. So good job, Anju. Thank you. Thank you. So this is the 14 planetary systems, and we are the 7th. We are the Bhurloka here. So there's Satyalok, Tapalok, Janalok, Maharlok, Svarlok, and Bhuvarlok above us, and below us is we are this. I know there are 7 above us and 6 below us. So anyway, not to get too distracted. So right below this Brahmand, as you can see, this is an egg-shaped universe. 1 second. So Bhurlok is number 7. Above us is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then below us is 7. Okay, below us is 7. So we are in the Bhurlok, and at the bottom of this egg-shaped universe is which Vishnu lies in the Garbhodaka ocean? Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And from Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from his belly comes a transcendental stem. Can you see the stem coming out?
And it goes higher
and
higher
and higher.
and higher.
And who comes out from this lotus of the stem?
Lord Brahma appears.
Yes, Lord Brahma appears. And arranged around this stem, this transcendental stem, are the 14 planetary systems, and out of which the Bhurloka is the earth planet right here. You are here. We are here. So the Lord does not need anyone to procreate Brahma. He does not need Lakshmi to procreate Brahma.
What does procreate mean?
He can create Brahma by himself, right? So the third Vishnu is right above Brahmaji, right above
Hi, Gaura. This is
Satyaloka.
Dr. Kapoor. How are you doing? Yes.
Can all the devotees mute themselves, please? Thank you very much. So right above the
Hi, Doctor.
this
Hey,
lotus
how's it going?
is Shweta.
Not too bad. I was wondering if you can check one thing for me. Seroquel, how much is it associated with QT prolongation?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Does anyone know how to mute? 1 second. Okay. So basically the third Vishnu is above Satyalok. Satyalok is the highest loka, and above that is Shvetadweep. Shvetadweep is also known as the Milk Ocean. Anshu, 1 minute, please.
A second.
And that is where the Shirodakshai Vishnu resides, right above Satyalok, right here. So Garbhodakshai Vishnu is in the Garbhodaka ocean, and the same Shirodakshai Vishnu So the same Kshirodakshai Vishnu actually expands from there into the heart of every living entity, every living being on every planet, in the animals, in the plants, in the humans. So once, just to explain this Kshirodakshai Vishnu form who lives as Paramatma in our heart, Prabhupada gave an example. He used to quote this example.
Yeah, I mean, in some sources I saw it's not there, but in PubMed I was reading, there was some concern. So I was just not sure how much is it.
Sorry. So Prabhupada would quote this example that he was when
Yeah, if you could
he was
check.
in the Grihastha ashram, Prabhupada was with his son, and the son looked out of the window and he saw the moon in the sky from the window. And then he left the house and he started walking.
Okay.
And then he
what
noticed,
was 2 to
told
3%?
Prabhupada that the moon is also walking with us. The
Oh,
moon
okay.
is also going with us.
0.322.
Similarly,
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Paramatma in our heart
Bye-bye.
is also just like that. The Paramatma is also going with us everywhere. The Paramatma is present in our heart. So similarly, these three Vishnus are the shelter of all the living beings. So another example is given. There can be hundreds and hundreds of pots of oil. They are kept on the on the earth, and the sun is there on top. The sun is reflecting on each of the pots. So similarly, through the oil. So similarly, Paramatma is also described in this way. Krishna is outside, but then he's also present in our hearts through Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So actually, these three Vishnus, they are the shelter of all living beings, and the shelter of these three Vishnus is Krishna, because Krishna is the shelter of all shelters. So just to illustrate this, we will read this verse. Any volunteers to actually, I'll read this verse, and then any volunteers to read the translation. Okay. Vishnustu trini rupani purusakhyanyato vidhu ekam tam tu mahatas shastra dvitiyam tvanda samstitam tritiyam sarvabhutastam tani nyatva vimuchyate. Any volunteers to read this translation?
Yes, Mataji. For material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansion assumes three Vishnus. The first one, Mahavishnu, creates the total material energy known as Mahatattva. The second, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, enters into all the universes to create diversities in each of them. The third, Kshirodakshai Vishnu, is diffused as all-pervading supersoul in the universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. Anyone who knows these three Vishnus can be liberated from the material entanglement. Haribol.
Thank you, Mataji. So as this verse actually comes in the Narada Pancharatra, and it's basically illustrating these three Vishnus. And anyone who knows these three Vishnus, actually, if you know that there are these three Vishnus, is actually liberated. But one must have firm faith, then only they can be liberated. So similarly, Krishna, Lord Krishna's plenary expansion assumes three Vishnus. So all these three Vishnus are also coming from Lord Krishna. So the other example that is also given is from the Brahma Samhita, this specific verse. The example that is given by Prabhupada, he quotes in many of his books, is that of a candle. So you have one original candle, one candle that is burning, and then you have another candle, you light it using the original candle, and then that also burns. And then you have another candle, you light it using the original candle. So similarly, you have so many candles which come from the original candle, but the original candle remains. So similarly, the original candle is Krishna, and all the other candles that are lit from the original candle comes Ramchandra, Balaram, all the portions and the portions of the plenary portions. So that is explained from this Dashantaramabhyupetya Dipayate Vivitahetu Samana Dharma Yastadrik eva hi cha Vishnu taya vibhati Govrindamati Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So it is the 19th verse here. The light of one candle being communicated to other candles, although it burns separately in them, is the same in its quality. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who exhibits himself equally in the same mobile manner in his various manifestations. So, this verse, from explaining the very first shloka, Namasye Purusham Tvadyam. So we have to understand that Krishna is the original Purusha, and all the Vishnus that we know of, the three Vishnus, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, as well as all the incarnations of Krishna, Narsingadev, Ramchandra, they're all like these candles. They're all coming from the original Purusha, Adi Purusha, Krishna. Now the next part is Ishvaram Prakriti Param. So Ishvaram, so Krishna is in this material world, but he is not affected by the material world. You are the original personality, are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. So one example, you are beyond this material. So one example that is given is just as the president of one country, he comes to a jail. He goes to the jail. So the thieves or the prisoners who are in the jail, there are two ways of thinking about this. One, he can think that, oh, he must be a thief just like us. They think of the president to be a thief just like him. And the second thing is other prisoners in the prison might think that, oh, because he is the president, all of us are presidents. So God comes to this world, and people make the mistake to think that, oh, he's among us because he takes the human form. Yes.
She comes up here every summer.
What's her name? Minik?
Minik, yes.
Okay.
Carol Minik. So she comes up here every summer for several months. She used to have a primary care provider that she saw while she was up here, but they all died. She outlived them all, apparently. So apparently back in April, she had an episode of dizziness that lasted about 20 to 25 minutes.
Sorry about that for the disturbance. So, so just as God comes to this world, people can make the same mistake. We are the prisoners of this world, and we could either think that, oh, God is like one of us because he's coming in a human form, or we could all think that, oh, all of us are God, we are all presidents. So Krishna actually, destroys this thought by two verses in the Bhagavad Gita. One verse is this one. One second. Yeah. So the first verse is this one. Avijananti mamoda manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So the first verse is saying that fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature is the supreme Lord of all that be. So they think that I'm actually a human being because I have accepted a human body. But they do not understand that actually my body is spiritual. And the second verse that also illustrates this is Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim svamadhishtaya sambhavamyatma mayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So the key word in this entire shloka is that prakritim svam adhisthaya. So he comes out of his own free will. Just like the president of India can go to the jail out of his own free will, and he can come out of the jail also as his own free will. So similarly, Krishna is also transcendental to the material world. Okay, because of lack of time, we'll just skip to the last line of Kunti prayers. Is last two lines. Alakshyam sarva bhutanam antar bahir avastitam. So alakshyam sarva bhutanam. So alakshyam means that he is invisible. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. So here two verses were quoted. One was this from the 15th chapter, 15.15. Sarvasya chaham mridi sannivishto matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedeshe sarvairameva vidyo vedanta krit eva vidhiva chaham. So one, antar bahir avasitam. So I am seated in everyone's heart, Krishna is saying in this verse. And the second verse that was quoted was this one. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavita mudho yam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. So Krishna says in this verse of Bhagavad Gita 7.25, I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. So here Krishna is saying that he can see us, but we cannot see him, because we are covered by his Yoga Maya potency. We are covered by Maya. That's why we are not able to see him. So our mind is actually clouded by many material ideas, and our heart is filled with many material desires. That's why we are not able, that's why he's invisible. That's why Kunti Maharani is saying he is alakshyam, invisible to us. Because our mind is crowded, we are filled with Maya, we are filled with Yoga Maya potency. And all this is done because our mind is filled with all these impure desires and everything. And therefore, Yoga Maya forms a curtain. So this curtain, this Yoga Maya curtain, is also described in the Isha Upanishad from this verse. Hiranyamayana patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tattvam pushan apavrano satya dharmaya drishtaye. So in this verse, there is a prayer. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchidananda Vigraha, your eternal form. So this curtain is there because, we don't have that purity in our heart to be able to see Krishna. But by Krishna conscious practice, by daily Krishna conscious practice, we can move this curtain out. We can we can pray to Krishna, and also by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Krishna's devotees, by the sincerity of our efforts, Krishna can come and remove this curtain of Maya, and from becoming invisible, he can become visible to us. And he's antar bahir avasitam. He's in our heart, and he's also everywhere else. So sorry, I have to cut short because of the time. Thank you for listening, dear devotees. I'm not in any position to take any questions or answers, so I would just suggest that everyone write down any question they might have. But that's all I had to share for today. Thank you for listening. Hari Bol. Maybe we can end by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 11 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare
Ram,
Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri
Hare
Prabhupada
Krishna.
ki jai. So I can share the link in the group for devotees who want to prepare verse wise. There are more lectures. I can just share it and just keep an eye out. I will be sharing in the group. Okay. Hari Bol. Thank you so much for your
Hare
kind association, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very, very nice.
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for encouraging. Hari Bol. We'll meet tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.